Hey, my lovelies, it's me, author Alexandria Infante, coming to you today with a new review. So, once again, I want to give Bin Sound a shout out because of the fact that all of the music that you hear in the beginning of our videos is done by Bin Sound. And you can get any of his music, any of the music that you hear at the beginning, if you might like it, you can get it on bensound.com. Basically, what you have to do is you have to give him a shout out in your videos or trailer or book trailer, commercial, whatever it is that you're using. And then he allows you to use the music. So it's royalty free music. And the difference between royalty-free music means that you can use it like that. Royalty-free means that you have to pay for it and just not pay the composer yearly royalties. So this bensound.com is royalty-free. So you don't owe him any royalties or anything from that. Now, he does have on his site where you can buy the music yourself, and that way it belongs to you after that. So that's a little bit different. So just make sure you pop over there. You can get music for anything from rock to classical to chant, basically. And if you give him his props by saying, I got my music from bensound.com, royalty free music, then he'll let you use it. So that's pretty much it. So today we were going to do a recap, but it kind of changed my mind. I read this book. I bought this book today, and I thought it was really good. I was a little bit peeved at the ending, but I just happened to be on downtime. And I was flipping through my Kindle, and Kindle, you know how they give you those alerts when a new book comes out. Like if you've read a book by the author already, if a new book comes out, they will give you like a little hint. But I don't remember reading a book by this author. But anyway, I got the click, and I decided to buy it. And so I bought it today, and I really enjoyed it for the most part. So this book, tonight's book is called, just one second. Tonight's book is called Irish Billionaire's Lost Child. Now remember I told you I have that little, the billionaire thingy is like a secret obsession of mine. I don't really tell people that, well, I do now, but I usually don't tell people that I read the little billionaire romances, especially when it has to do with like babies. But I do. They're like my guilty pleasure. You know, I don't read them often, so it pretty much has to catch my eye like really well for me to actually pick it up and buy it. So I'll like do the freebies every now and again, but this just something about this book just caught my eye, and I decided to buy it. Now it is very cheap. It is 99 cents, and it's on Amazon.com. And I think the book just came out. And so anyway, it's called. Here you go. You guys can see the cover. Ah, we're going orange again. There we go. Okay, can you see it? Yeah. That camera's still on its way, guys. Hopefully it gets here soon. Okay, so it's called Irish Billionaire's Lost Child, a BWWM Secret Baby Romance by Nicki Jackson. Okay, so this book follows Claire and, darn it. Liam, yeah. That's what I forgot for a second. Okay, so Claire is a fashion photographer. And basically she runs the scenes like, you know, Milan, Paris, New York. And she basically goes and she shoots the photos. She's a fashion photographer. Liam is a fashion house. Like he is a fashion designer, and he basically built his own house up from the ground. So now 3 years ago, she was on a shoot doing basically she was on a shoot for him, I believe it is, when he first came out. Or no, it wouldn't have been when he first came out, because he's been in business for 5 years. But anyway, so 3 years ago, she was on a shoot for him, and she was doing the photos for this shoot. And so she met him, they hit it off. He was like amazing, she was like amazing. They actually liked each other, and then they hooked up. They started having a relationship. So they had like a 4-month relationship, and then all of a sudden she just bailed out of nowhere. She went to him. She said things were going too fast. She couldn't deal with it, and so she was going home. And she was from New York. This takes place in LA, and so she had come out to LA on an assignment, and so basically they hooked up. They had like passionate blah 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 blah, and then for 4 months they were together, and then basically she was like, no, it's not working for me. And so she got ghosted. Okay, so 3 years ago, he was heartbroken. He was like, because she was like everything that he wanted in a woman. Oh, by the way, this is an IR. Well, I said that. So she was like everything that he wanted in a woman. And so the simple fact that she left, like just suddenly with no real true reason, like broke his heart. He was like very, very upset. And so he hasn't really dated anyone, and like his mother is very overbearing, and so like she tries to hook him up with these women, and she's trying to pretty much find that perfect woman for him. And so she introduces him to this woman named Ava, and he starts dating the woman named Ava. So now it's 3 years later, and Claire gets another photo assignment. She gets a job in LA. And so now her sister Audrey lives in LA still. So basically, Audrey's parents adopted Claire when Claire was a baby. And then after they had adopted Claire, when she was about 5 years old, they had Audrey. And so basically they just know each other as sisters. They don't really see that stepsister, oh yeah, she's my stepsister. It's like, no, she's my sister. And so she decides to stay with Audrey. Well, it's not just her now. It's Ezra. And I think that's how it looks like Ezra to me, just with an H. So I'm gonna go with Ezra. If it's not, she can pretty much, I'll send a shout out to her at the end, and tell her to please come on and tell me whether that's the child's name or not. But anyway, it looks like Ezra, just with an H. And so instead of ERZA, it's ERZAH, Ezra, like that. So kind of looks like the Hebrew way, so I'm just going to say Ezra. And so she shows up with 2-year-old Ezra. And so basically she's got her jobs lined up or whatever. And so she gets there, Ezra's cranky, they get off the plane. And so all she's thinking is, I need to sleep. And so she goes home with her sister, and her sister gets them all comfy and everything. And then they pretty much just, chill like that first day that they're there. So then her sister goes off to work the next morning, and she leaves her a little note telling her that there's a bistro like 4 doors down, and basically take Ezra there and get him breakfast and blah, 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 and for her to have a good day. So she gets up, she takes a shower, she, does all the toiletry things, and then Ezra walks into the bathroom because Ezra is like 2. And so, they do their daily routine, then go down to the bistro to go in to have breakfast. And so basically then it pans to Liam. So now for the last 3 years, Liam, his fashion house is like amazing. It's way up there. It's just like, he's a billionaire now with the fashion line and all of this stuff. And so basically, he was going to be married to Ava. He proposed to her, but it wasn't him. He didn't love her. He didn't want to be with her like that, but it was more of his mother. And so through the entire book, you get to see how overbearing and just, what this woman is. And so basically she pretty much forced him into this engagement with Ava. And so while she goes off to Paris to basically, couture or whatever, because I think she's a partner in his fashion house, he basically dumps Ava and is like, no, because I didn't want to marry you in the first place. And he's like, I should have never did that. I only did it because my mom told me to. And so I'm kind of feeling like he's a mama's boy, which I didn't really like that part, but anyway. And so he's like, my mom, he's telling you, the reader, that the reason why he proposed to her in the first place was because of his mom. And so while his mom was off in Paris, he broke up with Ava and told her, like, pretty much it was over. And so in the book, he's telling you that the only person that he's ever truly loved is Claire. But Claire ghosted him. She left him. And so basically he hasn't been able to get over that. And so he stops at this bistro or coffee shop to get a cup of coffee. And so he goes there every day. They're his regulars. They know him by name. He knows the baristas by name. And so he gets his coffee and he turns around and he's leaving. And then all of a sudden, he gets slammed by something. His legs get slammed by something. He jerks the cup back like, oh, S. And then he realizes that it's a kid. And so the kid is like trying to shove through his legs. And, he's just like, no. He keeps his legs closed. It was like he's pissed off because, he has on this expensive suit and he's got coffee all over the front of the suit now and all this stuff. And so he like looks down at the kid. And then he starts to look around for the parent, like, whose freaking baby's kid is this, pretty much. And so then when he moves the cup away, he looks at the kid, and then he's like, and then he looks up, and it's Claire, and Claire walks in the door. And so he's just like, and so he realizes at that moment, like, they have their little, his, mental, like POV, and then her mental POV, and then finally he looks at the kid and he's like, is it mine? And she's like, yes. Or she doesn't really say anything, and then he looks at the kid again, then he walks out the door. And so basically now he says, like, well, we need to meet to discuss this. And so she agrees to meet, and then like a day later they go and they meet up, and he basically cooks her dinner. He says all this stuff like, he should have never, maybe if he would have changed then, or he wouldn't have been so just like monotonous with his work and his fashion house. Because she tells him that she didn't tell him because she didn't want to ruin his career. She didn't want to ruin all this stuff. And so he's like, maybe if he wasn't so monotonous in his career, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but that's not why she did it. Like, she loved him, right? And she wanted to stay with him, but the mama came to her and told her that, basically telling her that she was trash, that he would, well, at that point, she didn't say that she was trash. She said that she would tie him down, and then at some point he would resent her, especially having to raise a baby. So she gave her $500,000. She's like, take this check and go. And so Little Miss Stupid, she takes the check and then she leaves. So now here she is 3 years later, And he's blaming himself. He's like, it's my fault because maybe if I wasn't so monotonous in trying to build this fashion house up like I wanted it to be, then I would have been able to see your needs. So he basically pretty much comes off blaming himself. And then they have dinner together. Of course they have sex. And then he wants them to move in with him because now it's his kid. And he's just like, I need you here. I want you here. It's my son. I want to be able to, see my son every day and all of this stuff. And so then she's like, this is, she knows like at some point she's going to be busted. And so she rolls with it, and then it's like the mom comes over. The mom finds out that she's back. The mom comes back from Paris, and she goes to his office, and she's like, she's pissed off. She's like, you need to go and apologize to Ava. And he's like, no. And then she's like, yes, you do, because basically she's there waiting for you now to come and apologize to her. And he's like, no, that's not happening. I don't love her. And the mom's like, so blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, Claire's back. And so she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, Claire's back, and that's who he's pretty much saying that's who I love. And so the mom kind of plays it off, and then she just walks out of his office. And so he thought that was really weird because he's like, she's very controlling. And so then later, once Claire actually decides to move in with him, and she takes Ezra with her, they are doing like the little family type thingy, and then basically the mom shows up one day and she's like, no, you are a gold digger, you this, you that, and you were supposed to have left, you were never supposed to come back here, blah 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 blah, and so you are trash. She starts just talking all this scratch to this girl, and she starts crying, and the mom she leaves, and she's like, you will never get my son, blah, 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 blah. And now the sister didn't know any of this because the sister didn't understand why she wouldn't, if he was being so graceful and he was being so kind to her from, basically ghosting him 3 years ago with his son, why wasn't she moving in with him? But she never told her the truth. She was too ashamed to. And so now the sister gets to hear the truth. And she's like, the sister like pretty much has her back because that's her sister. And then, so during this time, he has some beef with this other guy. And he worked for his fashion house. His name is Cranston, I believe, or something like that. Crenshaw, something. I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's name. Well, he's been doing Ava behind his back, and they're pretty much together. And then he sets him up, and so when he sets him up, he uses, like, there was a photo that he took at a photo shoot with Claire. And so basically he sets him up, he steals his designs, and then when he does the interview, he has the picture of him and Claire together posted. So basically, instead of him finding out that she had taken the $500,000 check from his mother, he thinks that she betrayed him. And that's where I'm going to stop. I will let you read the rest of the book. So now, I really enjoyed this book, but I had some issues. This book was so good from the beginning to almost the end. And then that's when it just fell. And I was just like, wow. I almost felt like the author was like, oh, okay, I'm done with this book. I want to finish. I'm just going to wrap it up and be done with it. That's kind of how I felt, because some of the circumstances near the ending of the book don't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like when he calls the police. I'm just going to throw that. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to say anything else but that, because like I said, I don't want to spoil. We don't tell the ending of the book here because we don't want to spoil that for you. But the police scene was very unrealistic to me. I mean, even though we're supposed to suspend reality and because it's fiction, and we understand that, but it didn't fit in the scheme of the book so far. And now the ending was cute. The ending was cute. I like that part. But it's that part where he finds out what truly happened and until he goes to the airport. So I'm just going to put it that way. That middle portion right there didn't make sense to me. This book would have gotten a 4 stars because it was that good up until that point. And so it seemed, I don't know what happened in that little space of time between the beginning and when you're get like three-fourths of the book or close to the end. I'm not sure what happened right there. Because that entire scene, all of that stuff right there completely turned me off towards the book. And so the book would have gotten a 4 stars from me because it was that good. But now I'm going to have to start at 3.5 because that whole, I don't even know where that came from. It didn't make sense to me. I kind of feel like this is not the author. This is the reader. I'm coming to you as the reader. I just felt like that scene, it really didn't even have to be in the book, really and truly. Because you didn't need to know that. He could have resolved the scene with Ava. That could have been, okay, the scene with Crenshaw or whatever his name is in Ava before, that scene was fine. But the scene in his house with him and Ava, that could have been cut out of the book. That didn't even need to be in there. Because to me, it didn't fit. Especially saying, I'm calling the police. That didn't fit. That didn't fit at all with it. So, if anything, I would say to the author, I would say, take that out. You don't even need that scene. You really don't. Because that's what made me go, what? But before that, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, this book is so good. And then I got to that, and I was just like, why? So, just like as a reader to an author, you may not want to, but I would really take, and as an author to an author, I would say the author to the author, not the reader. The author to the author, I would take that scene out because it doesn't work. It doesn't work in the scheme of things. Like you could say, you could have him find out, see her text messages, get that out, then go there himself. You know what I'm saying? Go take care of that stuff that in this scene, the stuff that is done in this scene. Have him put her out, then go take care of that stuff on his own. But the police, no, that won't work for that because I don't even think they would come for that. So that's what just made it really, and me being a New Yorker, which is, actually, no, that takes place here. Yeah, in California. That's the California thing. But I don't know. It's been so long since I've lived here. I don't know. I don't even think, but I don't think the police would come for that. So that's why I feel like it would be better for you to make him go there and then go to the courts. That seems better to me. And then you could end the book on, because like I said, I loved the book up until that point. It just like threw me completely out of the book because it didn't fit. It didn't fit there. The telephone, finding her text messages, all that stuff. Yeah, that fits. But just that whole part right there, I didn't feel that. And so I would have starred the book 4 stars if I hadn't have gotten that. If I hadn't have got that. So basically, this book gets between a 3.5 and a 3.75 stars because of that scene. Just really like it, like hurled me out of the book. It didn't just throw me out of the book; it hurled me out of the book. And so I would say, take that scene out, really and truly, because it just messed up the flow of it for me. But overall, this was a very good book. Like I said, I starred between a 3.5 stars and a 3.75. I did see a lot of typos. And it was like words where instead of year, when it was more than 1 year, it should have been years. There was a little bit of sentence structure that was off. And so So basically, all of that stuff can easily be worked with. That didn't throw me out the book. I didn't care about that because the story was that good. That didn't really bother me. I wasn't bothered by that. I was bothered by that scene. So basically, the book up until that point to me was good. I just didn't like that scene, and that scene is what pitched me out of the book. And then I went on and finished the end, and I thought the end was really cute. But I just feel like if you take out that scene, then it'll flow straight through, and you won't have any problems. You will easily get a 4 stars for this book. And so that's pretty much it. That's and once again, the book is called She Isn't on Our Roster. Like I said, I saw this book today. I got the little alert for it, and so I went and bought it off Amazon today. And once again, here is the cover. And it's by author Nicki Jackson, and it's called Irish Billionaire's Lost Child. It's a BWWM secret baby romance. And it's by Nicki Jackson. And if I had to say anything that I didn't like about the book, I kind of like, even with as good as the book was, I kind of felt like Liam was too forgiving. He really truly was too forgiving. Because like in Arlie has a secret baby. She has a couple secret baby billionaire romance as well. And when Cyprian finds out that she lied to him for 2 years, no, he was not happy. He did not care. He was like, what the you mean? I got a kid. For 2 years you were in especially because of the fact that they are in business together. They're in business together in Arlie's book. Cyprian is her business partner. Okay, she has a secret baby by him. He decides to give her 20% shares back. No, he keeps the 20% shares, and then he gives her company back because he was a jerk about it. And so basically, he did it to get her, and he fell in love with her. And so he left and went back to Romania. And then he decided that he didn't want to be in the business anymore, or he wanted to sell her back the 20% of the shares. He was doing it to be vindictive or to see what she would really do about it. And when he got there, and Michka runs into her office, and she catches him, and he sees the baby, and he's like, wait, what? And so he picks up Michka. He looks at his face. He sees his own face staring back at him. He turns around. He hands the baby to Minty. And he's like, yeah, this is going to take a minute. And so when they leave, he just starts cursing in Romanian. Because he cannot believe for 2 years she kept this from him. And so he's pretty much going off, which is pretty much what I kind of feel like any man who cared about that woman, who loved that woman, and then she bailed with his kid, it would not have been that easy and sweet. And so that's the only problem I had with the book, because it was too nice. It was too nice to where he was just like, well, it's my fault because I should have been, more attentive. I could have been this or that. No, she left with his baby regardless. She never told him that she was pregnant. So, no, I'm sorry. Any man who really cares about her, who loved her, like he said like the author says in the book, where he was going to propose to her after 4 months, no, he'd have been hell raising after finding 3 whole years. And he has a 2-year-old kid. So I kind of didn't like that part. I felt like it should have been more explosive and more like crazy, because it's a secret baby after 2 years. And especially if he still loved her. No, it wouldn't have been that smooth. But overall, I really like this book. It gets a 3.5, between a 3.5 and a 3.75 from me because of those issues that I saw. I just feel like he would have been raising hell after 2 years because, like, that's what I liked about Arlee's book is that Cyprian did. Cyprian, you've been gone for, I've been gone for 2 years. You have my kid, or like she did the other one. She did she has another one. Which one? Two Sides of Opa. She has twins by him. And she bailed with his twins. And she went back to Greece, his own home. And he was like, you don't lost your mind. To the point where he was going off so bad at Athena's fountain that the Greek police arrested him and took him to jail. And she had to go and bail him out. And that's what I'm saying. I just kind of feel like if that guy really loved her, he would have been raising hell. So, anyway, that's just my opinion. And so tonight's book, once again, is called Irish Billionaire's Lost Child, a BWWM secret baby romance, and it's by Nicki Jackson. And I give this book a 3.5, 3.7 stars. So make sure you guys go out and get this book because it is very, very good. It's good. I just didn't like those two issues with it. And she still gets a 3.5, 3.75 stars. She would have gotten a 4-star. That's how good the book is. To me, you might give it a 5-star. She would have gotten a 4-star from me if that police scene, and then if he would have been raised a little bit more hell to me. Because that scene was just too sweet. Too epically syrupy sweet for me. It didn't flow with me. So, once again, the book is called Irish Billionaire's Lost Child. And it's by Nicki Jackson, and it's a BWWM secret baby romance. So make sure you go out and get this. I bought this today off of Amazon.com, and it was only 99 cents. This is a good read, y'all, for 99 cents. So you need to go out there and get it, because 99 cents. As much as I was saying, this is a good book, and especially for 99 cents. So you need to go out and pick this up. Once again, the author is Nicki Jackson. She isn't a part of our roster, but if anyone out there in YouTube land knows her, let her know that we reviewed her book. And now tomorrow we will first be doing a recap of all the authors that we have reviewed so far. I think it's like 50, maybe something like that. I'm not exactly sure. If you take out SK, it says 52 videos down there, but I'm not exactly sure if it's 50 authors. So tomorrow I will have a recap. Before tomorrow's review, I will have a recap of all of the authors that we have, that we've reviewed so far. And we've had so much fun with it, especially me. And then not to mention, I'm getting free books to read. I love to read. So, tomorrow, she isn't on our roster either. But I saw these 2 books and I had to get them. And so I want to read them. Because remember, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday is IR and multicultural. So if you are an interracial romance writer, whether your character is a black woman, a white man, a black woman, an Asian man, a black man, a Caucasian woman, a black man, Asian woman, it doesn't matter just as long as it is interracial. And then multicultural, if your characters are multicultural, which basically multicultural is people like me, you know, who are Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican, well, I'm not Dominican, but you know what I mean, like, I'm Puerto Rican, Cuban, Asian, Irish, and Native American, and black, y'all. So, basically, all of that, I'm multiracial, because that is what my parents split to be. My mother is Puerto Rican, Native American, and wait, Puerto Rican, Native American, Irish, and then African American, because my great 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 grandmother was the slave master's daughter, and then my dad is on that side is Puerto Rican Cuban. So basically, that makes me multiracial. And then multicultural as well, because we celebrate all of those. And so if your character is like me, whether it is male or female, and the counterpart is Caucasian, Asian, Pakistani, Hindi, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Irish, Welsh, whatever. It doesn't matter, just as long as it falls into the multicultural. So, and then on Thursdays, we do mainstream Caucasian romance. So those 4 days are romance only. You can't, like if you submit, it can't be, if it's not a romance, it has to be submitted for a Friday. And then Friday, we do everything from mystery to horror. And then Sunday is YA. So now tomorrow we will be reading wait a minute, just a second. Let's see this cover. Oh wait. Now this is the book that I could not find the author. Okay, this is an anthology. That's why. That's why I've been like, what the darn heck, frick? Because it's an anthology. I just now get it. So, we will not be reading this one tomorrow. I'm going to have to take some time to read that one. It sounded really good too. So, basically tomorrow, then, if that is the case, if that's the case, then I'm gonna have to come up with something else. So I have a bunch on here. I just need to go through them to actually find the ones that are IR. So what I will do is, you will know tomorrow when I know. We'll be reviewing tomorrow. And then on on Friday, I'll tell you everyone tomorrow who we will be reviewing this week. Because I know there's some people out there on pins and needles like, when is my book gonna be? I know that's how I'd be. I'd be like, you know how they do in the cartoon, you're biting your nails, just wishing that people would hurry up and review your book so you would know whether it's good. People think it's good or bad. Yeah, I know how that feels. So anyway, so once again, like I said, this author was not on our roster, but if anyone out there knows her, her name is Nicki Jackson. Let her know that we reviewed her book, and she has a live review here. And basically, that's it again. It's called Irish Billionaire's Lost Child, and it's by Nicki Jackson. So make sure you guys go out and pick this book up. She would have gotten a 4-star, but she got a 3.5, 3.75 because of that him knowing he finally got a baby and that police scene, because I just couldn't do those two. Anyway, so thanks bunches, and I will see you guys tomorrow.